What is going on? Okay, almost there. Although, I'm gonna have to probably run and grab some cables or something. Around a few more of these windows. Let's see, 1 second here. Okay, yes, I am gonna have to get a stemma thing. I should probably take some of these devices back to the device room as well. We're kind of loaded up on the desk right now, so let's see. Does it really matter which device we use? I think, so this has stemma. This has stemma. I believe those both connect the same way. Feather, I should probably put the feather back to timestamper duty. Okay. But I've got, we don't need pins because it's stemma. I've got this one which we can use. Okay. I'm gonna grab stemma cable. And that's it. I got a feather. And I'm gonna take some of these back. Then I'll BRB. Okay. The stemma cable. Is this camera on? So, first up on the docket today, this morning. How's it going, DJ Devin? Good morning. Go. Share a link doesn't embed on your tablet. Yeah, I remember you saying something about the other day. You post a link so you can click through on a different thing. This. Yeah, it's weird how like similar yet different they managed to make some apps, I guess, on different platforms. Like, I don't know, you'll use something on the phone or the tablet or whatever compared to the desktop one, and it's like gives you kind of the same experience, but there's little differences here and there that kind of throw you off sometimes. I find that, at least in my life. Okay, put that back so it's ready for timestamping. I'll need to run the code on it. Should we do? I should just do that now so that I'm not caught later on. So, did I? I don't think I ever did say good morning or anything. For anybody that might be new, catching this in the future, or a few minutes in at this point. So first of all, I guess thanks for sticking around. If you're actually new and don't know what's going on, but my name is Tim. We're working on CircuitPython stuff. In particular today, I am going to be looking at some stuff inside LEDAnimation, as well as probably just going through the open PRs and stuff after that, depending on how much time that takes. I will have to hop off probably about, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. From now, I will stop. And then I'll get ready because I'm going to be hosting the meeting again. I'm taking over this meeting for Katney. She had something come up, so I'm going to host the meeting again today. I'll stop the stream to get ready for that, get all my notes in, and get all my recording and stuff switched over and set up and everything ready to go. Let's see, LEDAnimation. So, well, yeah, I was going to run the timestamper. Speaking of the meeting, I was going to switch this over so that we're actually ready on the timestamper device. Same on my phone. Yeah. Where are we at here? Device, workspace, CircuitPy code is probably... Oh yeah, this will be something... This will probably... I mean, maybe we'll get into this. This is something else to look at aside from PRs as well. Carter posted this yesterday in Discord. It's an interesting mystery that I'm curious to dig into a bit. Let's call this bitmap weirdness. There is this bitmap that shows differently when you use on-disk bitmap versus image load. So like ordinarily that should show you the same image because they're both loading the same image. But for this particular image, there is something about it that makes them appear differently. And I don't know really anything too much more than that, but digging into that is one of the mysteries of the day, if we have time for it, for sure. We want the timestamper. That in there. Okay, timestamper's ready to go. This way I'm not scrambling and forgetting it till the last minute. I need to solder another feather TFT is really what needs to happen. I have another one here with no pins. I'm going to use the S2. I feel like I recall something about there being potential I2C issues on the S3 still. I haven't delved into the S3 that much. I do actually happen to have one on my desk now. We need to plug in stemma. Probably show the camera, I suppose, a little bit for this. Just check PC. I didn't mean to do JavaScript. Different. It shows up as embedded, works fine. Doesn't work that way on my tablet, forces you to open the app. Yeah, no, sometimes it's... I don't get why they do stuff like that sometimes. Oh, crashed again, okay. Start. Third time's the charm, maybe third time. Go. Focus it up. Turn the light on. No. We have these IS31FL something something. Today's task is verify how to use it with LEDAnimation. And then make an example that shows how to use it with LEDAnimation in a PR for the repo. And I'm kind of curious at the difference between the glasses and this thing. Yeah, we'll get into the specific stuff in the code. It feels like they don't quite work the same, but I haven't ever run them before. Just looking at the code, they feel a bit different, and I'm curious about why. Is one of these in and out, or does it matter? Doesn't seem like it matters. Doesn't have arrows or anything. Okay, so we get that plugged in. I'll shuffle this about. Maybe I should have used the smaller stemma. Probably not gonna. I mean, I guess there's not really gonna be anything to see on the screen, theoretically. Cut the mouse pad a little bit here. Off some of the dusties. First thing is we just need to grab this library. Let's see. First, let's see, where do we go there? So Discord, flip-flop back and forth between Discord and YouTube if you want to chat. I see, yeah, pauses the live stream. Oh, right, right. I see what you're saying, yeah. On the tablets where it's got, like, essentially has one thing alive at once. YouTube can sometimes go to a small one, but it gets weird. My phone gets weird with it, at least. Yeah, I could try. Maybe one of these days we will do another trial of allow the YouTube chat during my own streams. I assume it would give you a way to get to the YouTube chat. Yeah, okay. So, in the examples, let's open up this repo. In the examples, there is one for LEDAnimation. Go recent first, that way we can have one that's next to it. Or, oh, I just hit cancel. Still revving up this morning, clearly. Okay. Pepperoni LED shim. Interesting. There is an LEDAnimation? Thought. Oh. Really? Are the... Okay, first let's just make sure I'm in the right repo. Right repo? No, none of these are the Qt... This is not the right repo. Did I get the device wrong? IS... let's back up here. Harley Plex IC. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm just in the wrong repo. Okay, well, let's go back to the source so we don't... it's the... What was this thing? I mean, I thought it was this. Is it any different? Is a good way to get to the exact library you know you want. So is this... I'm perhaps blind. What was the difference? I don't have it anymore. Oh well. Harley Plexed one? I guess the number must have been different? I can look at the local one, that's what we can do. $31 versus $41 at the end there. Okay. Should be, but YouTube wants all the monies. Sure, let me catch up here. Forgot about that. Spoiled with Premium can play in the background. Yeah, YouTube Premium. I've been tempted to use it for music before, but I've never ended up actually doing it. I don't use my phone to listen to YouTube that much. I'm a lot more of a podcast person on the phone usually. I'll like download a podcast or several and then just listen to those more so than live stuff. But there have been times when I've been tempted to get the YouTube Premium for music to be able to play in the background on the phone and stuff. Android can do picture-in-picture. Yeah, kinda. Some phones, and it's gotten better over the years, I will say too. It's gotten a lot better. You know what's funny about that is I accidentally the other day I managed to put my phone into half and half screen mode, which I did not even know it supported. They have a mode where you can get two things open with a divider between them instead of just one thing open, which could also potentially help for something like this because you could do video on half and chat on half. But the truth is, like, you probably don't want to divvy it up to halves like that, and layering what might be nice too. Which it doesn't support, I don't think, but somehow I managed to turn that on the other day. Had no idea. Okay. 41 versus 31. So this is LEDAnimation that runs on the glasses. And this glasses object is LED glasses, which comes from LED glasses here. Okay, so I should plug in the other one. We're gonna plug in the glasses first. And just run this and make sure it runs and just make sure we understand what it does. I've swapped to the glasses. I know you can't see, but I will switch it back once there's something to see here. So we're gonna put this on the device. We are gonna, what is this? Region test. We could keep that, I guess. Maybe we should turn the light off, actually. LEDAnimation. Go circuit for now. Whoa, why is that weird? I don't like that. Okay, that's running. So that works fine. Okay, that is quite bright. Is there a brightness? LED scaling. Zero off or just very dim? Oh man, that is so much nicer. Whew. Didn't think about trying the Twitch app. This picture in picture with the Twitch app. Nice. Hooray. Okay, so I'm gonna have to stop that because that will be a little too distracting for me. I'm a bit like a puppy with blinky lights. I'll just sit here and stare at it. So this creates LED glasses right here, which comes from Adafruit LED glasses, and there is a Adafruit RGB matrix QT. This extends 31FL3741 XY. Probably just going to call like IS41 for now, IS41. XY, this extends this, and the glasses one is the same. Albeit, it has base ring, it has right ring, it has left ring. Then it has LED glasses, so LED glasses, that's the class we instantiated. It extends color XY. So, I feel like because you can give LED glasses here to LED glasses animation, maybe that's the key. LED glasses animation. Okay. This might be the in-between that I was not quite realizing. So we need in order for it to work, we would need this layer for the matrix. Okay. Pass in the glasses, and then this basically gives it the NeoPixel interface of all these things that the NeoPixel object normally has. Could you just give the... Is this actually specific to the glasses? Could you just use the matrix and give it to this thing? And then it would work? They'd be out of order or something? I mean, the setter? What is the setter doing? Going with map pixel? Turn map. Sequence? Okay, yeah, no, they'll be out of order because of these, like... Yeah. Okay. We need a class like this for the matrix, I think, and I'm pretty sure this person actually made it. Oh, they made an issue as well. Right. I think the code's in there. I wanted to use PixelBuff, but it was missing the right method. I'd like to know, is being able to create PixelBuff from Qt a valid need? Is an adapter such as the one below a relevant way to address the issue? PixelBuff. How does PixelBuff come in? PixelBuff is the core module that's basically NeoPixel. So there is PixelBuff this. Extends PixelBuff. Which this is not used though in the animation example, is it? PixelBuff. No, this is not used in there. Is this used anywhere? No usages. Okay, so for one thing, we should have an example that uses this. That's a right. That's a right function. Initialize. It says it has a right function. What is PixelBuff more specifically? Why? Interesting. Been using a regular keyboard too much. Finger that I'm trying to type the C with is wrong again. I think that PixelBuff is just like the core implementation of NeoPixels, basically. I wish I could turn off this highlight now that I'm here. So this should be able to be used by LEDAnimation, I think. If we have a layer that turns the IS41 thing into a PixelBuff, which seems like what this does, then you should be able to use this with LEDAnimation, I think. Which means if that were possible, then you would not need, in fact, you would not need something like this animation class thing. Or to put it another way, this PixelBuff is kind of the same widget as this. It serves the same functionality as I understand it. It changes the API of the IS41 thing to make it behave more like standard. I mean, I don't know if it's a standard, but to have the same interface as NeoPixels. The .show, the .fill, the .pixel, all those things. The square brackets access. So I wonder why this one doesn't just work. So, okay. We're going to go back to the grid and just try to use this PixelBuff thing and figure out what it does and how it works, kind of. Because that's another thing, we definitely should have an example of it. If it's going to be in the repo as a class, I think there should be sample code to show what it's for. If I'm understanding right, it's for, it would work as this adapter between IS41 and LEDAnimation library. So let's go to Qt grid thing, simple test. Is that this one? Oh. Camera died. I think the glasses were designed to use an RF52840 driver board. Maybe there's something specific at the time that needed it. That needed that extra class in between. What's going on here? Oh, we're on repo. Zero's too dark for this one? Oh, interesting. Is that what it's supposed to look like? Seems like kind of a strange order. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem right, does it? Does something use this? RGB Swirl. Maybe have a simple test that uses this one also. That might be nice. RGB Swirl. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe that's what this is. It just has a different name. It's interesting. This seemed to turn it all the way off on this one. I set that to 0. Any different this time? Yeah, 0 is like off on this one. But on the glasses, it was just dim. Oh. Is that brighter? I mean, is that dimmer, rather? Oh, interesting. Okay, there we go. What is global current? Is that also a brightness thing? This move? It is moving. Yeah, slowly. Is it? Yeah. It's like slowly shifting upwards, basically. Okay. So let's turn all this stuff off for now. Oh, it doesn't do square brackets. Dot pixel xy, so 0, 0. Looks like it wants a color. Show. Okay. I'm gonna make sure that I actually understand how this interface works before I go on. How come this one didn't work? Didn't that turn them off? Oh, da, 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 da. Glasses class uses the C module. It's only available on the driver board. The Glasses class uses the C module that's only available on the driver board. I have current sensing in milliamps. So you need to keep an eye on the current draw. It's helpful for in the face of full projects. It looked like it's setting it though. Global current, it's like setting that value into there. Glasses class uses the C module, which is only on the driver board. Like a specific driver board? I'm not sure what you mean. Is there like a driver board there is, I think, a driver board specific to the glasses? I don't have that board. I think we were able to, were we able to use this? No, I don't remember if the thing I ran used this or not. Maybe it didn't. Okay. Okay. That's pretty much what I'm expecting. So PixelBuff, I see, PixelBuff uses that module. So you can't use this without that piece of hardware? Or do I misunderstand? The driver board hardware. Or could you use this with just any microcontroller in the glasses? How do you actually use this? So you go, and then was this, did we say there was no usages, right? Initialize it and just give it this thing and give it the mapping. I guess is probably the mapping. I think that person posted it. That module. The type of IS31 buff for this one versus something different in there. Sorry, I'm not sure I'm following. Imagine you should be able to use it with other MCUs, but again, originally I think it was designed to be used with that specific driver. Oh, this would be this one. Mapping I don't actually know, but I think they posted it. It was basically just tuple of address, list that's range of width, list that's range of height, pixel adders. I don't know what that does. Interesting. Height and width, I guess, we'll grab. That's the module I linked in the support matrix above. Just that one. That's a core module. Oh. Okay, now I'm even more confused though, because I didn't know there was a core module for this, I guess. So this, the thing that this is expecting is not this object. Hmm. Does it mention that in there? So then, so it's based on that understanding. This. Let's read the docs here. I guess a sequence of LEDs controlled by. Should this. Well, it is only actually used for typing, I guess. So is the core one of these a different. Provide a different API than this Python implementation of one? Got two of them during the pick of the week. Cheaper way to score the 52840. Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea there was a core module. So then the core module, it sounds like, is only on one device, only on specifically that one device. But so is the core module simply a Python implementation of this? I mean, a core, like a C implementation of this? Or is this thing a totally different thing, despite of having the same name? So right now the one we have is the Python one, obviously, right? Because we're not on that device, so we can't have the core one. So let's see what this does. I don't remember what the rest of the inputs were. Also, we haven't imported this. I think those might be the only ones we need. Yeah, everything else is optional. So now it would be NeoPixel strip, basically. So like 0 would be the first one in the strip. Has no set LED. I don't know what it does. That library is mysterious. Yeah, apparently. I had no idea there was a core module at all. UT has no object. Inside of initialize, it tried to call set LED, which doesn't exist. Like that's scaling for all LEDs? Oh, this is just looping, interesting. Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa. Why are you doing that? Why? Why can I not undo? What? To special typing mode somehow. This is only used here. Worth commenting that out? If it works besides that? I mean, I don't want it set to 255 anyway. Hopefully. Set global current. Okay, it has a property called global current rather than a function called set global current. One thing, I guess, let's go look at the module. Does this click through? Oh yeah. Frame buffer. Creates an in-memory frame buffer. Interesting. Oh, that one's actually called frame buffer. This is the base one. Driver for that device. Reset, enable, set global current, set LED, right. Is it worth enabling this on more devices? Is it like take up a lot of space or something? Looked up IS41 on DigiKey. It's just a PWM LED driver chip. I don't know if you saw, but yesterday somebody wanted to scroll text on the matrix, so I hacked a frame buffer for it. Quite slow. I did not see. It may be worth trying. This looks like they're well, but it's not turned on any devices, I guess. Supposedly there's one in the core though. Yeah, I have a lot to learn apparently about how this is structured. Would it be faster? Does it make sense? I mean, in my head, it seems like if they made this one in the core enabled on more devices and you use that, it should be faster than a Python one. I'm not sure if it's all the same thing. So I will say it does seem like we have slightly different API, right? This is set global current and set LED, whereas this one is slightly different. It has global current as a property, and it has get item and set item as instead of set LED. Color XY. I don't know. There's so many different ways to refer to these. I don't really know. It'd be interesting if there was a doc somewhere that said like, you know, this is a color XY. This is like what that concept means. Versus like PixelBuff versus FrameBuff versus Matrix versus why stop popping that up on top of what I'm looking at. Like fill. So see, to my eye, this reads like this would also, like especially the bottom part of this reads like this would be intended to be the layer that goes between IS3141 and LEDAnimation, because LEDAnimation should work with I would have thought it would work with an object that has like fill and pixel and show. Did we try that? Not yet. Let me try that after, I guess. One had no set global current. Looks like it doesn't have enable either. I don't know. That's our next error. Bool object is not callable. It's a property instead of a. Yeah. Possibly this could be adapted. It seems like all those things exist. They're just slightly named differently. Let's undo this stuff. Let's put that back. Let's stop doing it this way for a second. And what happens if you just initialize this, which is that color XY object, and then just give that to LEDAnimation? Does that not work? That's not actually the code I wanted. Yeah. Yeah, the 31 versus the 41 at the end and the beginning makes that particularly even more confusing. Here, it doesn't really matter. So pixels would be this, and then, yeah, sure, we can go red, it's fine. We do have to import it, though. I guess we could just use hex, but... Okay, but then we also need, certainly we'll need this. Object is not callable. Isn't that the old one? Yeah, this is the old one. Unsupported stuff for right shift. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We do actually want to do this. So this was my guess as to why this didn't work. No dice. Okay. Or did it not go? No dice still. Okay, yeah, it didn't go. R shift. So that's saying inside of a init in there, 301. Color XY. It's trying to bit shift the color. Animation color cycle. So this feels to me like this is expecting a hex, and that the LEDAnimation can work with tuples, and in fact did probably pass a tuple in this case, and that messed this up because it's expecting a hex. It feels to me like the color XY one. It feels to me like this RGB matrix QT, which extends IS3141 color XY, which basically gives it the neopixel functions, the neopixel object, like .pixel, .fill, .show. Doesn't actually have .pixel, actually. Does it? I don't know. Feels kind of like that should be able to be the glue between LEDAnimation to me, but maybe not. And then it Feels like we're close. It's just something is using the wrong kind of color that it's not expecting. Not even the wrong kind, the different kind, the tuple. Ah, so those are, can you do, can CircuitPython give you the Python version? Version? No, show the version. --pi. Thank you. We're in where? We were in color cycle, which is in animation. Color cycle. Why did we get into the color cycle? Maybe, I guess, blink extends color cycle? Yeah. Too many things. 52. It's called fill. Off that color. Right. So my theory is that this black is a tuple and that it's not working with that. If we were to change this to a hex, I think it would work. Obviously, that's not really the right fix, but it's worth a test. Nope, still no. Okay. The next one. Still got another one of those? Interesting. Why do none of these go through blink? Not actually any different. m.draw. Boy, this really feels like if we could have it use a hex color, it might just work. I don't know why it's not. Maybe it's just not true, I guess. It's actually there. Okay. Those are definitely just hex colors, not tuples, so I guess it's the wrong file. Something changed it back to a tuple. How did it get back to a tuple? Elf color. Color generator? Okay, well anyway, let's stop chasing it there. We should be able to fix it here, honestly. If we just had a tuple to hex converter right here, then we could just use it real quick. The rest of the stuff should just work fine, I think. Where do we find a tuple to hex converter? Rainbow is a list of tuples. Yeah, but I don't think I'm using rainbow anymore. I thought that I changed it over to being all these, but the truth be told though, I don't want to chase anymore trying to make it hexes. I feel like it should be hexes. It's not. Somewhere it's changed to tuples, but the truth is if we just fix it here, then it will not, the rest of the chain doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think I'm using rainbow. At least I'm not intentionally. Or I know nowhere that I can see in the code is it using rainbow still. Where I know there is this function somewhere, we just use this in the gradient stuff, I think, right? Gradient generator palette thingy. These are in a weird order that makes it a little bit more difficult, though. Oh, they are still somewhere near the top, I guess. I think this has, like, tuple to hex, hex to tuple. I don't know that we'll need the reverse. Would it make more sense to not declare this inside of fill, maybe? If type, no, they don't want you to do that, right? Is instance? If is instance color tuple, then we go change color to tuple self dot tuple to hex color. So set itself back into there as the hex version of itself. Then go on. One positional. 314. What the hex? 314 and fill. Oh, self. We should make it static or something. Bytes? Yeah, there we are. Blinky blinky. Okay. So there are a bunch of layers which probably can be used. I don't think that... So like my take on this is that some of those layers are not necessarily intended to be required. My take on it is that the color XY object, which is the one that we initialized kind of from the simple test, or to be more specific, we implemented, or not implemented, but we initialized RGB matrix QT, which extends the color XY. My take on it is the color XY is supposed to provide the same interface as NeoPixels, and the LEDAnimation library is supposed to work on the same interface as NeoPixels. So this layer should at least allow being the glue between the IS3141 and the LEDAnimation, but it doesn't work that way today because of the tuple versus colors. Now, there's also so many other things in the mix. There's the PixelBuff thing in the mix. There's the custom animation class, like this one is in the mix as well for the glasses at least. And it's unclear to me exactly where those fit in, but I feel like this one should allow it. We should be able to make this work. And theoretically, at this point, we should be able to pretty much do like any animation, I think. Let's try some of the harder ones. This one's like super basic blink. Let's do something a little bit more fun. Should we do, let's do like, what's one of the ones that has multiple? Sequence, maybe? Blink, comet, chase. Yeah, that's scaling up a little bit, but not too far. I like it. Let's do that. So we just need this bit. Actually, we can have all of this, in fact. So I think we, as far as action items, I'm thinking that we want a PR to basically make that tuple to color hex changey thing in line there so that it can work. And then add an example. For hex to tuple. I lost my, where was that? Shoot. Where did we? No. Is it in any different? No, I think I got roughly the same. Tuple 2 bytes? Let me look at the reverse though, because I think, is your reverse different? For hex to tuple. So you have tuple 2 bytes, 3 big. Huh. How does that work? 2 bytes, 3 big. So 2 bytes, that must just split the tuple. Each item in the tuple then becomes its byte representation and gets returned to you as basically an iterator or whatever, so that it can then go back inside of tuple. Huh. Oh, but it's, wait, but color is, it's not a tuple, it's a hex. So 2 bytes, you are telling it 3, that means it's gonna split into 3 equal sizes, or it's gonna split into 3 bytes, I guess, at least. Which will be equal as long as, well, I mean, they'll always be equal, but some of it could get thrown away if your initial thing was bigger than that many bytes. Interesting. What does 2 bytes actually do? Return an array of bytes representing an integer. Okay. It's an int to 3 bytes. Short or big. Interesting. I do like that. I'd never seen it converted that way before. It's more succinct. We don't have pixels, instead we have IS. Okay, so we got a couple of blinkies, I think, for a second, and then we do some others. Oh, okay. We started celebrating too soon. Like, blink worked, but... Oh, okay, 194, we have a set item. We need to fix that maybe one more place as well. Well, yeah, it makes sense we would need to do that inside fill, but we're going to need the same stuff, obviously, inside pixel. Probably we would need the same stuff Actually, in this one, image, that's a different one, though. Image is not one that's normally part of the NeoPixel interface. So LEDAnimation won't care about this. In fact, it shouldn't be using it. Okay. Blinky blinky. Fingers crossed? No, I think it crashed again. And convert into tuple. Okay. Second. I mean, we have this must be the same problem, just in a different place. I think I'm not in the right spot here. So this is I-194 inside of set item. Okay, well I went inside pixel, but I guess this is going to be the same thing, right? We're going to definitely need it there as well. But we just also need it somewhere back here. Oh, but PWM. Now I'm confused. How did we get to PWM? That we were colors. Raw. Maybe this is not actually supposed to work. Maybe blink we got away with because it was such a basic animation. This could be the case. Let's go in pixels, start, color. And so it's expecting a hex color instead of a tuple color. Why is this called PWM and not color? Is that the way these chips work? The PWM represents different colors or something? It sure feels like this is actually a color and not a PWM. value must fit in 1 bytes. Why is something looking for a literal string CircuitPython? A text scroller for LED glasses that relies on the built-in module. Built-in module seems to be only shared module, no NRF port specific code, so presumably it could be enabled for other ports with enough space to allow display I/O on the single 13x9. It sets each LED individually. Oh, it sets LED. That's red LED or a blue LED. Oh. Okay. I mean, the crux of it is the same problem, but I'm not sure. I don't think I really follow, I guess, how it works. Because this is going pixels start equals color. This is expecting pixels to be allowing me to set a color on it. But I guess I'm really confused where this came from, because this one's not... This one is PWM of one channel of a color. I guess it's just that we don't... This is like overloading the setter. I think the truth is we want to be calling this, probably. Well, but this is also XY, so we'd want to use modulus to get this down to a single index rather than an XY. Okay. So I think I am actually now backwards on what I said earlier. I don't think this should work with LEDAnimation, probably. At least not as is, because it overloads those get item and set item. This extends this overrides get item and set item, and that will make it never work with LEDAnimation, because LEDAnimation expects to be able to set pixels that way. Okay, so it's kind of close, and some animations can work because coincidentally they don't use the get item set item if you also account for the tuple colors turning to hex and all that. Not sure what the missing link is for full-on display I/O. I'm not familiar with the matrix and the frame buffer code. Yeah, I don't know either. In my frame buffer implementation, I do convert pixel position to LED with a mapping. Ladders mapping. Okay. So I don't think color XY can be used with LEDAnimation or is intended to anymore. Which then makes the next question, what do we do next? What's the next best way to make it work? And so I have a feeling this would work, but we can't actually try this because we don't have the built-in module. So I could try making a build where we enable this built-in module, and then maybe that would work. It is interesting, this person, I thought, did they say they did that? Did they say they used PixelBuff? Made PixelBuff adapter, which extends this thing and has write, which does use image. Interesting. I don't know too much about it, but I suspect we probably don't want to create a new buffer every time here, right? And so in this one, they initialized the PixelBuff adapter, which is this, which extends matrix QT. They set the scaling, the global current enabled. They made pixels equals PixelBuff, which is the one built in. So can we actually use that? So that built-in, so PixelBuff, this one, my understanding is this is the one that's wanting that core module. Which I will say too, I think the core module, it'd be nice if it had the same API. It feels like it's the same but slightly different nomenclature, like a set something function rather than a property. Where's back to our code? Give me back to here. Yeah, it could use some probably refactoring or equalizing if at all possible. Like and documentation, like I did not even know there was a core module. I had no idea there was a built-in module that worked with this. I think I probably missed the boat on that because I never did look at or consider that specific little glasses driver board thing. I kind of always treated and thought of the glasses as just like stemma, basically. They plug into a microcontroller. Having their own separate thing is not really the way I thought about them. So I had no idea that built-in module exists. I wonder if that could be used by other things. I also wonder if it could be just documented better to show like what the different layers do. What does the core module do? Which devices can use it? You know, is it only those devices, or like could other devices use it if they enabled it? And then, okay, like this is now the Python layer. What does it do? Is it the same as the core layer, just slower, or is it totally different thing? This is what devices can use it. This is what it's for. And then like the PixelBuff one, same kind of thing. You know, what can use it? What's it for? How does it work? If there was docs that laid all those out, it might be a bit easier to understand and also honestly try to tackle refactoring, because right now it's unclear unclear if all these things are like achieve different things. There's some things that are impossible with one but not the other. Are they simply just different ways and there's no right or wrong way for any given situation? Has no set LED. Okay, yeah, I did start doing this one. We went down this road a little bit. It's coming back to me. We did not get very far. Essentially, the crux of this was that it's expecting it to have set LED, set global current, and enable, all three of which don't actually exist on the Python object, which we currently have. If we had the core object instead, then maybe this could work. It is odd though. How did they, but they did the buffer adapter. It's weird though, theirs adds right. Why does adding right allow this to work? It's like set LED and a couple of those things are what it would need to work. Can't import it for some reason. Missed the beginning, but I contributed to the library a little bit, I believe. Maybe I had support for Pimaroni board. Nice. Oh, yeah, we did. I ran across something earlier that was for a Pimaroni board. Yeah, I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around how the different layers work. Thought I was on the right track for a bit, but not quite anymore, I don't think. And they created this thing. Maybe I should have a new section for this. Yeah, I think I want a new section for this, to be honest. This was a failed attempt, but an attempt nonetheless of exactly what it says. Leave that there as a note. And I basically want to make another attempt that uses this go-between thing. We're going to take this stuff, uncomment, we're going to get rid of this stuff, and use the bottom half of this. That gives us pixels, and pixels should be a thing that behaves like a neopixel strip, which means we should be able to give it to animations. as we import the right stuff. Module frame buff. See, I don't feel like frame buff should be needed for LED animation. Frame buff, in my understanding, makes it into a display. So frame buff definitely needed, or helpful, I guess, usable in making text and scrolling text and stuff like that. But LED animation doesn't really do text in that way. I don't feel like, it doesn't feel like to me we should need a frame buffer layer in order to make this work with LED animation. However, it does work, so worth noting. Let's try the other animations though. Let's see. Blink, because Blink was like, that's what we found out earlier. Blink is like the training wheels, I guess. It's the basic version. Doesn't do very much, doesn't need very much. Let me catch up on the chat here. Maybe also the LED shim from Primaroni. Did not know how to. It's 28 strip. I want to run the LED animation on it. Wanted to run, but it needs something I did not know how to make. Also, maybe there was a suggestion to split the library into one per hardware. Yeah, I would not say, I don't necessarily have much of an opinion on that. If it can save space, I'm relatively pro trying to save some space. I don't know though the way that it can be imported. I mean, it can be different files within the same library and then not get imported, I think. Although I don't actually know how it all works. And I still, since I don't understand which components do what yet, it'd be impossible for me to have any kind of thoughts or opinion on whether it makes sense to split it up or how to split it up or anything like that. I do definitely wish, I want to try to make it easier, I will say. After messing with it so far, I think that's the main thing, is a little bit more documentation that explains the use cases for the different layers. And also an example that shows the right way or the easiest way to use it with LED animation. Didn't actually get animations with this one. Oh, seems like it crashed again. Convert tuple to int. Okay, one thing is though, we initialized this before. We shouldn't have this stuff. No. Comment. So this allows Blink to run, but not Comet currently. So did they mention in their example which ones We'll just... They use a lot, including Comet. Why does that work? Interesting. You made Comet run. Nice. Using your frame buffer layer thing, or using something different? No module name async.io? I would... Ideally, I think we want to just try to minimize things involved here for now. So I'm gonna actually just go back to non-async IO for this. So the color order is wrong. Some of them feel kind of awkward because they're on the slower side and they don't do very much. It does seem like everything is running. I'm a bit confused though, I guess, about why did of course we also, I probably slowed it way down by having this print inside of here still. Yeah, way smoother. So what hardware do I have at hands? I have the 13x9 and I have the glasses. That's all I have. Well, I think I have a Pimoroni something somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at, and I'm not sure if it's covered by this library or if it's a different thing. I'm not necessarily counting that. The 13x9 and the glasses are the main two things I have for testing. Once those are operational, I could potentially try to dig out that Pimoroni one, but I'll have to go finding. I don't know off the top of my head where it's at. Yours does use the frame buff thing. Does it feel like to you it should be possible without frame buff? You ended up chase pixels, PixelBuff. Okay, so you did use the PixelBuff thing, and then you did IS31, which is... Okay, hold on. Got right equals right. Interesting. See, the person posted about this. I still haven't found this. I don't understand that part of their message. The error I got when I tried it wasn't... I feel so confused right now. The error I got was not anything about missing right, though, or having Maybe it's not about right missing. Maybe it's the right was existing but called the wrong thing, and that's where it had the stuff that didn't end up working. I don't know. I feel like I don't have a very good grasp yet on exactly what that person was saying. I don't even really get why this works either, truthfully. So it's you overrode the right method, which then made it so that this now has your special right method here, which does do this frame buff thing. So yours is very similar to the way that theirs worked. Okay. So what I'm coming to understand, I think, is that this PixelBuff one, this one can actually be used with the Python version of the class, but except for the fact that the Python version of the class has what I'll call a different right or a wrong right, or there's something about the right that's not working. So if you overwrite it with this one here, then you can use PixelBuff with the Python version of the class and everything can work together. Which implies then that the core version has something different about right. So that would be one potential resolution as well. It would be good if my understanding there is right. I feel like we should try to strive for the core one having the same functionality and functions and behavior as the Python one, so that hopefully they could be interchangeable, so that you would not have to change the right function like that. Unfortunately, that means probably some code somewhere has to change, since the behavior would change to one or the other. How did you find out about the right function being the thing that was needed? That's one of the missing pieces I have. And what is the adapter? This is the wrong library. What is this? Is this overwriting right? Int as tuple. That sounds familiar. Set up pixels. Then we have class this. Doesn't extend anything. It has init. Has length. It has brightness. It has auto write. It has show. It has get item, set item, which is calling into get pixel. It has map pixel. It has fill. It has range for slice. It has get pixel. Doesn't have any writes. Except for auto write. How did you know to change the write function? Okay, we're gonna go back this off a bit more again. Could I be on stemma I2C? I'm using the stemma port. So this is basically the basic version of the road that you went down. What was the error message here? Has no set LED. So I created a Qt and I gave it to the PixelBuff and it failed because of no set LED. How did you know to change right in order to resolve that? Or did the thing, was this the same high level problem that you were resolving by changing right? And if so, how did you know to do that? I don't understand the link. Just copied the code. From the issue one? This has a right, but it just calls show. Interesting. Abstract class containing the main functions related to this chip. It focuses on lowest level I2C operations and chip registers. Has no concept of a 2D graphics coordinate system, nor of RGB colors. The core module, one of these says driver for that device, create an object with given attributes designed to work low level or pass to, I think that's an object such as frame buffer. It's the other one of these. Oh, here's another one of these ones. I tried looking into this problem one day. Well, I don't know, maybe it's not a problem, I guess, but I don't know why it does these in columns. They should, as I can tell, they should be listed vertically, but tried for a while messing with the theme and doing different stuff. I never could get anything to affect it. We'll ask there. I don't know if we'll get, I don't know what we'll get back, but we'll ask there. Wasn't the issue where we needed RDD to update the module, use the new settings? I mean, it could tie back to that. I don't recall this specific thing being associated with that. I tried a bunch of different versions locally and never could. I don't remember exactly what it is. If off the top of my head, like what I think I recall is that I never could get it to not do this, no matter what version I built with or anything else. And I also tried editing the code around here a lot. Tried messing with the actual syntax in there, and I never could get it to not do that, if I recall correctly. It's been a little while since I worked on it. And then I will say a couple other things on that front too. Supposedly ours are switched over to behave the same now. They made that change for us, Read the Docs did, but there are still some differences, namely the examples, which was the one that I had noticed when I started working on that. Still has trouble. I think they were in the process of still trying to do something else. I need to actually check back in with Katney again. She was coordinating back to Read the Docs. So I'm not sure the current state, but they supposedly did switch our libraries over to where the date is not supposed to matter as much anymore. But I do know of at least one thing where it does still, so unsure. Okay. I think that will be helpful if anybody happens to know the answer to that or have opinions on that. Maybe I'll make a in the weeds topic as well. In my mind, I'm thinking either these should have different names or they should be intended to be the same. So in my mind, I think we should either try to make them behave the same to where one could be a drop-in replacement for the other, which would mean that you could use the PixelBuff object, this one, you would be able to use it with the Python version of that if they actually behaved the same. Today, it seems like you can only use it with the core one, or if you custom roll your own Python one that changes the write function. I think it should either work the same for both, or change the name of one of these so that it's more specific about what it is or what it does that's different, hopefully. And then ideally we create one that does work the same so that it can work with this PixelBuff thing. I still don't quite understand how. Should maybe post back on the issue. I don't quite understand how they knew or how they found out that write was part of the problem. I wanted to use IS31FL3731 PixelBuff, but it was missing the write method. I don't know how they, I don't know. I need to step through the code more, I guess. I don't know how they figured that out, that that's what was missing. Based on the error message, at least the error message that I received doesn't say anything about that. So they must have either resolved that one somehow or made it not matter in some way to be able to get farther, and then found that the write, or maybe I am misinterpreting this, maybe this is somehow telling me that the write function is gone or not working correctly, and I'm just not able to understand why it means that. I would love to try to get it to where we don't need frame buffer as well. Because if I understand it, frame buffer is a two-dimensional grid. A pixel buffer which can be drawn upon with pixels, lines, rectangles, and even other frame buffers. So this is really cool. This is great. This is really good for like text. It's really good for making it behave more like a display. Like this definitely seems very useful, but for the case of LED animation, I don't feel like we should need that in the mix. Because like a strip of LEDs doesn't have, I mean, like, again, you could make a frame buffer with it and then you could use it to display that stuff, but just for using LED animation, when you have a strip of LEDs, you don't need a frame buffer. Or similarly for like a matrix of LEDs, right? The Neo trellis here can run LED animations, but it doesn't need that frame buffer layer. It needs just a pixels object, which has like those get item, set item. So this does solve it, but I feel like I'm hoping it's possible to solve it to use LED animations in some way that doesn't involve making a frame buffer. And I feel like we're close in a few different avenues. I feel like we're close to being able to just give this object directly to LED animation. That almost works, but not quite. I feel like we're also close to being able to give this object to the PixelBuff thing here. We're very close to being able to give that first object to this one. And then if that could work, then I think it would then work with LED animations. And I think that's what is proved in the sample code that's been posted here, is that they tweaked the QT thing, the color XY thing, and then they allowed it to go into here. Once they got it into here, they were able to give this to LED animation, and then that worked. The way they tweaked it brought in the frame buffer, though. And I'm thinking / hoping that it will be possible somehow to not need that frame buffer. And it feels like it should be. It feels like it's so close to me. Like, in either of those two ways, it feels like we're almost there. So I'm hoping there's maybe just a tweak somewhere that we can make to where one of those two ways works kind of out of the box without the frame buffer layer. Let me catch up on the chat here, and then I'm probably going to have to wrap it up for now. Let's see, IS3141 PixelBuff. Transmit calls IS31 write. That's just the internal API of PixelBuff. So it expects an object, the built-in one, with a write function that does the real display of things. It's the PixelBuff API. The real sending of data to the NeoPixel dot done in transmit and gets passed as a buffer. Maybe in the weeds topic. Yeah, possibly. I need to be able to explain it more succinctly than I can right now, I think. Yeah, that's the key, is I need to work on what are the specific questions, what are the specific topics. Essentially right now it's a bit too jumbled for me to coherently put it into a topic in the weeds without just rambling about it, kind of. But I'll try to noodle on it a little bit. I'll try to kick it around, see if I can come up with a summary that makes sense and conveys the primary questions I have. And if I can, then I'll drop that in the weeds, and if not, then maybe next week. Maybe next week or something. So LED shim is linear. So animations calls show, which calls transmit, which in PixelBuff calls write on the past ISL object. Matrices are 2Ds. Yeah, so for the getting from linear to 2D, there's a bunch of solutions for that. So LED animations, yeah, they are by themselves, they are all linear, but within the LED animation library, they provide helpers to make it work like a grid. So like the root animations are all linear, but it has these pixel map and vertical grid map, horizontal grid map. These things are helpers that allow you to work on a grid, essentially. So yeah, by themselves, they expect a single list, but with those helpers, they work in a grid. Pixel map. This one works on an 8x4 grid, so this one's made for the Neo trellis, I think. 32 pixels, 8x4. So it generates these helper map ones, and then it's able to pass those to the animation. So yeah, kind of a little bit yes, a little bit no. And I do think that's how, with LED animations, this should be how the two-dimensional grid is handled, rather than frame buffer or any other kind of, color XY or anything like that. I feel like when you're trying to use LED animation, this is kind of the way that already exists for using it on a grid. So I'd love it if it'd be possible to do that for the grid and then not worry so much about the frame buffer, the color XY. Like, if you want to use it with LED animation, then this is how you set it up with the grid, and then it can just work the same way as other existing grids. If you want to use it differently, like if you want to use it without LED animation, then it totally makes sense to have other different helpers that allow you to access it in that grid way. But this one is kind of made for LED animation. Should be able to do it at a lower level. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna take off for now. Gonna get some food in me, and I gotta get all set up and get my notes in and everything to run the meeting later on. I'm taking over to do that. So those of you that are gonna be in the meeting, I will see you then. Anybody else, thanks for watching either way. I should probably be back at some point in the afternoon. I'm going to host the meeting. I got to do the post-meeting roundup stuff. I may go for a walk and do a few more things before I come back. But at some point in the afternoon, I think I'll probably pop back on the stream. And I don't know for sure if I'll keep going on this for now or if we'll find something else to do. I'll wait and see how I'm feeling at the time. So that'll be the plan for later on. The note says Kattni's hosting. Yes, I switched out with Kattni. So yeah, I'll go change it in the docs as well. Thanks for the reminder on that. Thanks for the stream. Yep, thanks for hanging out, Keith, David, Nerodoc. Let's see, DJ Devin, a couple other folks we had. Appreciate all of you. I will see you on later today if you want to come back. I'll see those of you in the meeting then. And that's going to do it for now. See ya. Thanks.